Hey everybody, this is Dark Guards and we're back with another video. Now it's been a long week. We basically went through the Modjam, or rather I went through the Modjam. I did a solo contest for that one. Hitman also joined in doing a solo mod. Nobody else in the team actually joined in on that one, but that wasn't surprising. The Modjam was kind of short notice and nobody really had a solid plan going forward. Not a lot of prep work was even put in, etc, etc. Anyways, we're going to demo off the mod I produced. If you haven't seen the previous video of the design, go see that one. I just published it. It was originally unlisted, so the Patreon only could go watch it. But now it is published, you can see it. I'll see if I can link it in the video so you guys can watch it. But the concept, really simple. I wanted to make a box that was basically full of imagination. I was inspired by a mixture between the SpongeBob Idiot Box episode and the Futurama The Farnsworth Paradox episode. If you haven't seen those, I really do recommend going and watching both. The SpongeBob one you probably could skip, it's not exactly the greatest. But the concept is you have a cardboard box, you go into it, and you can imagine a whole world that you can have an adventure with. Since this is a video game, we're not actually going to let you do the imagination part, because you're playing a video game to do the imagination for you. Although it is Minecraft, you could get away with it a little bit. So we actually do have a dimension to go for and everything else. So let's go ahead and create a new world here so I can show off the mod. The mod is not exactly finished. I did as much as I could in the Modjam in the short period of time as I could. I know there was 96 hours to do it, but I didn't even get to use even a 3/4 or even, I really didn't get to use a lot of time, is a good way to put this. I spent most of the time working on my vehicle, doing schoolwork, doing everything other than making the mod for the Modjam. So there's probably only like about 10 hours worth of actual work into the mod and everything else. Anyways, when you do actually install the mod, for the Modjam version, you will be given a box right off the back. This is the box that we're talking about. I've named it the box as part of the joke. If you didn't see the jokes we were doing, we did an April Fool's joke in the Discord where we named the actual Discord the box and box modding. And everybody called themselves the name of the box. The name I picked for myself was the box. It was kind of fun. It was really good. We had some decent jokes. There's some images up on Twitter showing off the jokes. If you guys haven't seen those, it's pretty good. I would show them in the video, but it would take me too long to pull them up. And I've only got a very short window to show this off today before I have to get back to schoolwork. Anyways, you can run around. There's nothing in the overworld that was changes. I was originally planning on putting a lot of changes in the overworld, like you would find random box trees, you would find box mobs that would drop cardboard so you can actually craft this and everything else. But you can place the box. The box is simple. There's nothing really going on to it. It looks like a little box. The texture work does need a bit of help. And this is actually a 3D model, even though it looks like the standard Minecraft vanilla cube with 2D textures. The reason I will show you this is that in a second, when I right-click this, it'll start doing an animation. You guys will recognize this as the red matter animation, although it was not taken from ICV myself. I did remake this from scratch. Regrettably, that took longer than expected, and it was probably not a bright idea. It will animate, go up. It will freeze for a second. The animation is unfinished. There was a lot more work I wanted to do with it. The freezing is the fact that this does a step animation as it goes up and back down. In order to do the animation, it will stop at the bottom here for a bit. That's really just the animation is just that unfinished and does need a lot more work in order to get it. I probably will spend some time on this eventually in the future after the Modjam contest is up and actually spend a lot more time on it. When the animation is done, it will do an ender portal here. It's supposed to actually update the model. There goes updating the model. So there's actually 3 states for the model. Closed, open, which is what we're seeing right now, and open top, which is what it does the animation for. So once it's finished, you get this, and you can see an ender portal in here. This is an actual ender portal animation copied from the ender portal system. I do plan to do a little bit of work with this. It is going to be roughly the same because this looks good. It looks really nice. You get a pretty good indication that this is not a normal box. I do plan to put audio in here. As you can probably hear, there's no audio. You can probably, I don't know if you can hear whatever over the music. The music's okay, decent volume. But there you go. You've got that, and you can right-click this. If it actually will work here. It'll then teleport you to the other dimension. How this does work is it will create you an exit portal back on here. The location is 100% randomized. It'll do 100,000 in any direction. I don't know if it does from the box or the center of the world. I'm going to say center of the world because I did not spend a lot of time on this. But you will have a connection here where you can go back and forth. Real easily teleport back and forth. The code works decently well. It is not tested multiplayer, so I do advise waiting until I can actually spend more time on this mod before you actually put it in a mod pack and use it. I probably should have marked it as alpha, not beta, but I marked it as beta just for the Modjam release so people could see it downloaded. When you are in the cardboard box dimension, you'll start to notice that there is changes. Now, I didn't get to work on every mob. So most of the mobs are still very vanilla based, even though they are tagged with a cardboard texture change, but there is no textures at the moment for them. You can see that a lot of the blocks have been switched over to this cardboard looking block. Not the most perfect thing ever. It is randomized on the color, so you get this nice cool little randomization. This randomization will change as the blocks update. It's just incidental. I will work to make this where it's a little less random on the fact that it does change and a little more consistent, so that way map builders don't have to worry about the colors spasming. Is when Leaf Decay does go, it will spasm a lot. We do get cardboard grass. I didn't get to like lily pads or anything else. I had to pick a handful of blocks that we can get to make this work, but the grass is the same. All of these work exactly the same as the vanilla blocks. They're just cosmetic changes. This was not done via resource pack for the simple reason that there is no way to actually make resources work per dimension or per biome. And plus, we want to make these drop something else different in the future. When I work on the mod more, I'll probably get some help from Hinneman and a few other people to actually work on the mod more. We do have some leaves. All the leaves and logs do have a cosmetic change. They will eventually be changed to actually drop cardboard when you break them down. The leaves will also drop cardboard, and you could use that for various things. I may use the leaves for a dye or something. So there will be an actual advantage to coming to this dimension and actually mining down the resources, although the dimension is entirely designed for exploration. So you're meant to go through and kind of find stuff. The plan was to do loot boxes and other stuff. So you would find a box that you could break open, it would have items in it. You'd be able to find rewards, do dungeons. That never happened. Another thing that never happened, and we never got around to doing restricted dimensions. Each of the boxes was supposed to be able to go to a unique 1 kilometer size pocket dimension that you would then be customized. It could be randomized. It could have a variety of things going on in it. And you could sell, by the way, you can look up and see that we do have a skybox. The skybox is literally a cardboard box. Pretty funny. Was suggested at the last minute by, I think, Upcraft in the MMD Discord. It does work. It's really nice, really simple. It renders a grid of basically the texture from this right here. So if you change the texture for this box, it will change that up here. I do plan to expand upon this and make it to where you can see outside the box. So if somebody was standing above the box getting ready to teleport in, you would see them above you. Not sure if we'll ever get to that per se, but that is one of the things I would love to do. I'd also love to make the dimensions shake. If you've seen the Futurama episode when they pick the box up and they shake it, the whole universe shakes with it. It's definitely something I do want to do. Beyond this, it's just mostly trees and cosmetic changes. There are zombies cosmetic changes. It's not, I mean, there really is not a lot in the mod itself. All the mobs that we do override are vanilla mobs. We do not actually make custom mobs for this. So it does work out really well. It is very mod pack friendly, very mod friendly. So if a mod wanted to change the zombies as well, they would work as intended. All of the armor would work as intended. We do plan to also do cardboard armor and weapons with this mod down the road. The zombie textures are randomized. The randomization is picked, so these will consistently save over the zombie. I do not know if it's actually synced properly, so there could be an issue when you log in and out that these do not actually render properly. Definitely tons and tons of work still left to do on this mod to make it work a lot better than past Modjam. A lot of content still needs to be implemented and added, but that's pretty basic and simple. Cool thing is you can build as many boxes as you want and they'll take you back to the overall. So if we build a new box right here and we right click it, it will animate. It will make a few comments. I do plan to kind of randomize the comments a little bit here. There are also a lot of the jokes we still want to implement. For example, being able to hide in the box like Solid Snake, being able to put the boxes in your head, being able to craft certain things out of them that are pretty cosmetic. I want to add some characters and stuff that would jump in and out of the boxes. For example, one of the jokes is if you've seen the Futurama episode, you have Zoidberg that did the box says no. I plan to do that in a few different ways. There will be, when you find the loot boxes, a small little crab that will stand on top of it and it will say the box says no and then jump off and attack you. There are other changes like having an Arnold Schwarzenegger character that will pop up and go get to the box and he'll jump in. There was also a plan to do the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland that will say no time and then jump in. Of course, we'd use a normal rabbit from the game when we do that. There's a few bugs still left with this. You did notice that this one did animate and it didn't actually generate. I think that is because there probably did crash while making the dimension ID. There's definitely a few little bugs when actually connecting the portals back and forth. It has to do with how the world loading works. So if you see it generate and then fail, it's because it didn't pick the dimension ID. I don't have any error logging built for that just yet. I will add some animation to indicate that maybe some verbal chat going failed to make box and then it would pop up. So that way at least you know what's going on. I also do need to fix it where you can see the render through the wall here, which, I mean, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. This should eventually work. It's not going to work. Let's check out to see what it did, and there is actually no crash. It's just flat out not deciding it doesn't want to do anything. Let's try to do another thing, because what it could be happening is it just could be not finding a dimension to teleport to. Because it does actually, when it goes to build a position, it'll pick that random point, it'll start at the top of the map and go down until it finds the topmost position to place a box. Then it'll place the box. If it can't place the box, it will not give you a teleportation point because then you can't get back if you needed to. There we go, that one actually did work. I think this one will probably continue. Let's see if this one does it as well. There we go, so they both work now. So these will go to random points. Unfortunately, it does take you underwater. I do really want to make some structure generation code to deal with this, but we're back in the overworld, and we can look around. We can then click back into this and go straight back to where we were going from. These should work in the nether, and these do actually store a target teleportation position and dimension. So if you wanted to, you could come in here and with an add-on or a server command or some MBT editor and make these boxes point to custom positions. So if you wanted to do nether portals and everything else in work, anyways, just go use the other box here and see where it takes us. Takes us to a desert here. There we go, and we're back. It's overworld again. Let's build another portal and just test this really quick, since I do have a few more minutes before I'm done and have to go do something else. And if I remember what tab these are on, there we go. So we got some of that, and let's go ahead and get ourselves this. And let's just build a really simple nether portal. And get it like that. I believe we can build these anyway now in the newer versions, but I'm going to do the standard one. And let's go through this. Speaking of nether, we're going to have some cool mods coming out here pretty soon to work with another. There we go, and we're in here. That looks pretty cool. I believe it gave me another box too, but I'm not quite sure. The code that definitely gives you the box when you respawn and stuff, I'm definitely going to be fixing that, so that's not going to be a consistent thing. So this should, in theory, take us to the box world. It won't take us to the overworld. I could change it and add some configs to definitely give us back this. Speaking of configs, this mod does have configs. Let me go back here, mod options. Go to boxes. It's supposed to have configs, but it doesn't look like it's generating properly. It has a config to change the dimension ID, so you can change the dimension ID whatever you want. It is going to only use one dimension ID in the foreseeable future. That's not going to change ever, so it'll be like that. This actually looks really nice in the nether. Does gradually fall. This is entirely mostly client-side for the animation. The only thing that happens is the server just tells it to start animating and animate, so whenever it does stop is whenever it does stop animating, so it'll switch states from the server to the client. So you could have a situation where two clients see two different animations. That's perfectly fine. The animation just meant to kind of give you that ah and wow look while the box is doing its thing. The delay is just to give it enough time to make sure the world has generated to some extent. I may work on this more to make it preload the world for you. But here we go, that'll take us to the box dimension and we can come right back. There is a lot of plans to actually make these boxes more usable as well, because I don't want this just to be a purely kind of dimensional and cosmetical mod. We will be doing like teleportation stuff to allow you to teleport items back and forth to dimensions, put rail carts through it. Definitely will doing ICBM support so you can teleport missiles through these things. Probably might even multi-block this so that way you have a lot more to do with this when it comes in terms of how big the portal is. Probably some cosmetic changes for the box. You can do different colored boxes, name tags, hopper support so you can teleport items into machines and out of machines. A lot of different things. Definitely want to make it where you can flip the box upside down and have it where you can fall out of the box rather than being just teleporting on top of the box. Right now this will teleport on the corner with this version. If you did notice that, it will actually do that. So be wary when you build these boxes that you could accidentally teleport to a wall. Luckily Minecraft should push you out of the wall on top of the box. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. I definitely will be coming back with more on this in the future. Won't know if I get to it this week. This week and next week are going to be hellish because these are the last 2 weeks of my degree for my computer science and bachelor's degree. So I might be incredibly busy when it comes to that regard, so I'm not sure what we'll get to, but I'll leave you guys here without me rambling on and on.